Hi, everyone. Welcome to Clutch Entertainment today. And today we're going to be talking about how to push through fear. Fear comes in a number of different ways. It comes in positive ways, comes in negative ways. It's there to protect us. It's basically the amygdala in our brain that protects us from any kind of danger. So the amygdala is I would say it's about the size of a walnut. And it's in the middle of basically the middle of your skull, like near the base kind of. And basically what it does is it recognizes dangers and fears that we have in our lives. So every time you have some kind of stress, it's something to do with the amygdala firing in your brain. So if I'm worried about a test, if I got to take a test, or if I have to worry about, making a good impression on somebody, or if I have to worry about whether or not so-and-so is going to die in the hospital, every time that those kind of situations happen, it makes you like catastrophic fear, and then it just causes you to go into all kinds of different negative ways. But there's different ways to channel fear. Fear really is the thing that comes up. It's an emotion. It's something that gives you a question like, how do you want to use this fear? Where does it go? So our energy all goes into, what we are focused on. So if, say, like a fear comes across, like you're afraid of heights, and you look down and you say to yourself, whoa, like this is really high, like I don't want to fall off. Then your fear is going to give you two options. It's going to say, do you want to stay here or do you want to run? And it's going to give you that question. And if you say, I want to run, then that's going to get in your brain, it's going to give you a signal like there's a danger. It's going to make you think, oh my gosh, I got to get out of here before I fall off this edge. If you say, I want to stay here, you're telling your body, I want to be here. There's nothing to be afraid of. And it takes time to program your nervous system, because your nervous system works with your amygdala in your brain. And that's what causes all the chemicals and stuff to fire off in your body. So basically you have to put that decision in your brain and make a decision in your brain, say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure that this is not a situation I should be afraid of. So there's things that happen when we're kids, for example. Say we fall off a slide, for example, and then we grow older and we're like, I don't want to go on a slide. I don't want my kid to go on a slide, because you get that fear in your brain because that happened to you, something traumatic, and it hurt you. So anytime something hurts you, it gives you that fear that tries to hold you back the next time you try to do it, because it's your brain trying to protect you. So let's talk about fear as your friend. So you can use fear as an advantage. So when you get fear, a lot of times it gives you a little energy boost, if that makes sense. So if you're afraid of the dark, for example, you all of a sudden go on edge and you're focused on what's in the dark. It gives you focus. Now, when you have that focus, you need to use it for, I got to relax. There's nothing to be afraid of. I just got to push myself out of this slowly, out of the dark, and find some light. So that's just an example. But you got to say to yourself, what might happen? What's going to cause me to get hurt or suffer? And then you got to ask yourself, how many times has this happened? And if you give an answer and say, oh, this never happened, okay, you could say something like, okay, so what's the next step that I need to do? And if you get like a cycle of bad thoughts, you just need to say, look, if I stick here, I'm going to be better off next time. So you need to give yourself a goal, an end goal when you're doing this. And using that fear and that energy to get through that position that you're in will help you get to the next time that you're in that situation. You're like, this ain't so bad. Like, I'll give you an example for myself. So growing up, I was always afraid of going up on the roof. I was always afraid of dogs. I was always afraid of, what was the other thing? Heights, yeah. So I was afraid of those three things. Like, those things always bothered me. So like whenever I'd see someone get on a ladder, not me. Whenever I'd see a dog, I'm running away. I don't want any dog near me. Whenever I'd go up any kind of tall building or anything like that, not for me. So all those things were things that, for me, affected me. I was even, I think at one point, afraid of the dark too. So like when it was all dark, I need a nightlight. Nope, not doing complete darkness. So over the years, I faced each of these fears individually. So for example, this is probably a couple years ago when I got my own house, I said to myself, who's going to go up on the roof to go clean the leaves off or the sticks that go on my roof? I can't call mom or dad because they're not going to go on my roof. I'm going to have to do it myself. So literally I'd get the ladder out and I just walked up to the top and took my time, took one step at a time. And then I got on the roof. And then once I got on the roof, easy. The next time I got on the roof and got down, easy. I started doing it over and over and over. And I've had no problem since. For example, the darkness, when I was younger, probably like middle school, early high school, I would always say, man, I hate the dark. Like, I can't stand this. Like, so I would always have a nightlight on. Then one night I said, you know what? I'm going to turn the nightlight off. Let's just try it. I just laid there. I couldn't sleep. I was thinking, I need a nightlight. I said, no, I'm going to go through this in the dark. And I used that to help me get through the darkness that night and help me fall asleep. And then, for example, when I was afraid of dogs, I used to say, oh, they're all coming up on me, trying to jump on me. I used to be like, I'm getting out of here. I remember I went to a park one time and the dog was running right at me and I just ran away. Like, see ya, I'm not going to let this dog get me. But now, like probably, I would say within the last 5-10 years, whenever a dog approaches me, I just stand there. Like I stand there like still. I don't like dogs jumping up on me. But I'm more so like, look, I can't get away from this situation. There's a dog right here. I should just stand here. Let the dog smell me. Let the dog interact with me. And you know what? I let that happen and I'm not afraid anymore. Like I used to be afraid probably in general, afraid of all kinds of animals and such. And, now I'm just more like, they're going to come. It's all about like I was talking about before, accepting it and telling yourself, there's nothing to worry about. Nothing ever happens to me. Like the chances of something happening to you is very slim. Like I've struggled with a little bit of anxiety in the past and such. And there's been times where like I've had like panic attacks and such. And that's more of like the negative side of having the fear. But like those panic attacks reinforced my fear of, oh my gosh, something bad is going to happen. Like I'm going to die. But no. And did I ever die? No, I'm still here. Did I ever suffer? Yeah, I suffered because in a way it makes you suffer. And it's just like the repetitiveness over and over and over and the pattern you get into over and over and over that affects what you're going to feel. And if you're constantly feeling, I'm afraid, it's just going to keep reinforcing and it's just not going to let you go. It's not going to let you, you're going to wake up with it. You're going to have trouble sleeping. You're going to, all those different things. So it's all about a process of where do I need to go? What do I need to do next? And how do I accept this? Those are the three big things. So let's talk about some of the negative things with fear. So some of the negative things that can happen are you get a bunch of negative thoughts. Am I good enough? What am I going to do? How am I going to make this job? How am I going to pay for my bills? How am I going to impress my family and friends? How am I going to be able to afford things? Like all these different questions come up all the time. Like, there's people that struggle with all these different things and they end up going through all these questions in their brain and then they overthink. Like if you fill that space instead of that space of negative thinking, you fill it more with like, okay, my brain is like going crazy right now. For example, like I was feeling kind of like a little bit off yesterday myself. Like I was feeling like I was having these thoughts like, like what am I doing here? Like, where am I going? Like, I don't know what I'm doing today. I'm just, bored in general. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I need to go do something. So I went downstairs and I started working out with weights. And then when I was done working out with weights, I'm like, okay, what do I need to do next? Okay, I'll Got to go to my friend and eat dinner with my friend. Like I started pushing myself to go toward these different mini goals, and you go at them one at a time. You don't go through 1,000 goals at once. Like you just make these mini goals. Like, okay, step 1, wake up in the morning. Step 2, eat breakfast. Step 3, go to work. Step 4, eat my lunch on my break. You just got to break up everything into steps. There's a priest that's my spiritual advisor, Father Tim, and he's always told me, like, when I've struggled with stuff, he's always been like, break things up into steps. And that's what's helped him. But he's always told me, like, it's just one step at a time, one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 second at a time. It's all through time. I know everyone's impatient, especially when you have anxiety and you get really impatient with things. Believe me, I know it more than anybody. It's just really eats at you. It makes you feel horrible. It's just not very fun. So I would say the biggest thing is, when you're getting these catastrophic thoughts, when you're getting these negative thoughts, you want to just put yourself in that situation and say, okay, what can I control? I can't control this. These thoughts just come by. Do I feel them? Do I run away from them? Do I exacerbate them and just, there's a lot of different things you can do and a lot of different things to get you through that section of how you're feeling. And when you go into that acceptance mode and you go into the mode where you just like focusing on what you're doing, it really gives you a chance to say, you know what, like, this isn't so bad. Like I at one point I also had trouble going places, and I was more of like, man, like I can't go anywhere. Like everywhere I go I feel horrible. Like what do I do? And then I got to a point where I'm like, you know what, like being where I'm at right now in the specific area or spot, like it doesn't matter where I'm at. I'm still here. I'm a person. I'm here. And wherever I'm going, like it's still I'm here. It's just I'm just in a different place. I may not be comfortable in that place. I may not want to be in that place, but I'm still here. It's the biggest thing out of everything with fear is being in the present. If you can't be in the present, then you get more fear. And then that's when you get all that anxieties and such. And then anxiety spirals into depression because it's repetitive over and over and over. And that's what hurts you overall. It's very difficult to beat fear. Fear is probably one of the hardest things to overcome. It's not an easy walk in the park. It takes a lot of time to get over stuff. And it takes a lot of focus to overcome it. Every day when you wake up and you feel horrible because of fear or anxiety or suffering, if you're in pain, when is this pain going to end? Like when you see no end in sight, but it's all about your patience with yourself, your goals you set, and what you can control. You can control, your actions. Your actions are the things that you can control the most. And not how you feel you can't always control, but your actions. So if you do an action, the action translates into feelings. And sometimes you get in this mode where you're so spiraled down, you can't do anything. And you're going to fail. Not everyone's able to just, boom, pick this up. I'm 31 years old and I have had all kinds of problems over the years. But you know what? I'm still here. I never gave up. And I've said to myself, no matter how much that I'm going to go through any kind of fear, anxiety, suffering, I'll get through it. I'll make it. I mean, I may not be okay in that moment. I may not be okay for a week. I may not be okay for a month. But there's always an end. Even though there's no end in sight sometimes, all things pass. There's never a thing that lasts forever. The seasons never last forever. The weather never lasts forever. Your feelings don't last forever. Sometimes you could feel amazing 100%. The next day you could feel like crap. You feel like 0%. Like nothing is ever the same every day. Every day is different. There's literally no day where it's exactly the same. Like, I can think of things, oh, this is similar. I usually go through this every day, blah, blah, blah. I've been through this. But there's never a day where the exact thing happens, exact time, exact everything. Everything's different every day. So we just got to all accept that. We all got to put ourselves in that position. And we all have to, push through the fear the best we can. So I just wanted to pass that information and that advice along today because I'm just really passionate about it. And so I thank you for watching Clutch Entertainment today, and I appreciate everyone who watched this podcast today. If you have any questions or you want to like and comment and subscribe below, that would be great. I'll reply to some comments if you go ahead and comment. But thank you for watching Clutch Entertainment, and I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.